problem, bro? We're trying to have a good time. Nope. Who the hell are you? What the hell? Come on! We got to go to the circus!
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We're here for the good reels, so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. Man's right over there. We got a special guest with us tonight, Mel from My Killer Podcast, here tonight to help us tear up the freaking Paranormal Activity franchise. So that's really exciting. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight talking about this franchise and going through the tiers, because this is our Patreon pick of the month. They all of our Patreons got together, tiers 2 and 3. They nominated some ideas. Here's all the lovely peeps. And then they went ahead and voted on it. And this is what they came up with. So this is really cool Patreon sponsored event that we are really excited to do tonight. But first and foremost, if you guys have not seen Mel before, tell the people who you are, what you do, how awesome you are, where to find you, and all that cool stuff.
I'm Mel from My Killer Podcast. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This is going to be a darn good time. I don't know about how awesome I am, but I laugh a lot.
Stop.
People seem to like that.
Oh, man.
But I'm just going to say I love your guys' little shorts, especially Brett Man sitting on the toilet in his underwear.
Thank you for noticing that. I feel like nobody notices that. I wasn't going to actually share that.
Well, I'm glad you muted us because I was laughing through that whole intro. I was like, oh my God.
That is awesome. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Hey,
I love them. They're great.
Yeah, that's always the goal here on the channel, is just to bring a smile to people's faces. And what better person, better guest to do that than with Mel from My Killer Podcast? And in the description down below, we have all of her link, or her link tree set up. So she has a Patreon as well. So if you want to sign up for a Killer Patreon, be sure to visit her page, and along with her channel if you have not subscribed yet. And guys, I'm just ready to tear it up. I'm just ready to tear it up.
Is that your notes? Is that your notes for tonight?
Oh
no! They're all going to be out of order now, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Just Brad, just
keep that back up.
Keep the people entertained. I'm just going to put this back to. Okay. Anyway, screw it. We're going to say hello everybody in the chat room and see who all is here tonight. And I'm going to butcher the crap out of this, so I'm going to do my best. I got Luke Peak.
Lucky Vision Films.
Thank you, Mel. This is a Mel follower here, and we're glad to have you here.
What's up, Lucky?
What's going on there? Thank you for joining us. And we got yo Adrian. How you doing? And he's saying, Mel, it's nice to see you.
Hey, Adrian.
We got My Killer Podcast. Man, is there a clone? Say yo. You said even yo Adrian too. That's hilarious.
Yo Adrian.
Exactly. That's why we do it. Just because you're Adrian, we did it.
So in case he ever wondered, that's how I'm saying it when I type it out to him. It's always, yo, Adrian.
yo, Adrian, how you doing? You look a lot tougher than you look.
Locked the door before, you know. Hey, oh, hey.
Oh, that's a good impression.
Yeah, Brad's a Rocky fan, so he gets it down pat. But who also gets it down pat too is Lamontre. What's going on, Lamontre? We got Gory Tiger. We got Mud Nelson and Gavin. And of course, we got one of our other patrons here too, of Horrorhead Heather. What's going on? Anybody yet? Oh,
Horrorhead actually voted for this against her own pick.
Yeah, I know. What the heck?
She picked the Trimmers franchise for the show tonight, and then she voted Paranormal Activity instead.
Well, actually, that's the rule. You're not allowed to vote for your own. That's
true.
The whole
yeah,
because
that wouldn't make sense, right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's okay. That's why we have two people on this who do this channel. So because if it's just one of us rocking it solo, we'd be screwed. But we also
got franchise is awesome.
We got Rob Romano saying, "What's up, Mel?"
Hi, Rob.
We got we got Rosie. What's going on? Here's your rose. And I always give Rosie a rose, so that's why I always do that. And then we got the fellas over at Let's Talk Movies. What's going on there, guys?
Hello.
Man, there's a lot of you all here. Stopping by to say hello there, fellas, for Dimension. Yeah. Mel, you just want to run the show because you're doing a lot better. Because if anybody, okay, let me quick announcement for the male followers. I am absolutely awful with names, so don't hold that against me too bad. Okay, like I mispronounce a lot of things. I might be mispronouncing more names tonight, so just want to throw that out there. It's not done intentionally.
They picked up on that.
Shut up, Brad.
Hey, sometimes he calls me Broad. Broad.
or one time I did call him Bread.
Oh man.
And then we got Chris Snyder saying, yo, how you doing? See, we got everybody rocking Rocky impersonations tonight. We got Make a Cat, Go Vols. He's a big Vol fan. And then let's see here. I believe, Danner Banner, what's going on? Greetings. And yeah, that is how we got it. Oh, and Chris saying, if you mispronounce my name, I'll unsubscribe. Appreciate it, So really appreciate that. So, okay, enough of my foolishness here. Brad, just in case if anybody's new to tearing it up here on Good Real Hunting, what is this show about?
Dude, we're going to be tearing up this franchise. Usually, we pick different topics all the time and we just run through it. We'll do the thing. We got the tier set up. I don't know if we have a picture of it or if we're just going to have to pull it up. But either way, we got it from worst to best. We got 5 different tiers. We're going to put all these movies from the Paranormal Activity franchise into its tier that it deserves. And, there's 3 of us here tonight. We got the special guest. So I think what we'll do is, we can 2 out of 3 that SOB and put them right in there. And it obviously... we can take the average like we have been doing because there's more than one person. We'll take the average and we'll put the averages up in the tier, essentially from what our individual picks would be.
Yeah. So
that makes any sense at all.
No, that makes all the sense in the world. And real quickly, before I pull up the tier list, I will be controlling all of that here tonight. Pretty much what got us into this franchise. I know I got me a short story, but it's always for our special guest to go first. So, Mel, what got you interested into the Paranormal Activity franchise?
I guess I'm not really into the whole franchise because it wasn't until the last couple of days that I've actually seen all of them. But I did really loved the first movie. So I've seen the first movie when it first came out, and paranormal stuff, demonic stuff, possession stuff is like my jam. Sounds really weird, but it is my jam. I love it. So I really liked the first one. And I remember seeing the second one and the third one, but it was like I only saw them as they came out. So I'm not going to lie. I didn't really remember a whole lot about each one of them when I was watching them. But now that I had a chance to go through and watch all of them pretty consecutively, I didn't realize that this got really witchy. I didn't realize it was more about witches than like ghosts. So that was actually quite a surprise to me. I mean, it was interesting, but I don't know. I feel like I would have liked it better if it would have went the other way and been more about like hell and demonic entities and spirits that way. But I still really love it. I have this thing. I bought this thing with all of the movies.
Yeah, so show that off because that's a beautiful box set.
Yeah, it has like a hand on here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it actually comes with a full documentary too, which I didn't know about. And I didn't watch this. I didn't have time to watch it, but this is like the full documentary. So if you buy the box set, it comes with this and you guys can see it. And this box set also comes with Next of Kin in it, which I think is the only way to buy that movie at this point physically is in this box set.
Have you seen a documentary there yet?
I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, have not watched it yet.
Paramount.
Yeah, so I didn't know. Are you talking to me? You must be talking to me. No, but no, that's awesome, Brad. I am going to go you first. What got you into the Paranormal Activity franchise?
Well, when this came out back in 2007, it was, I mean, it was groundbreaking in a lot of ways. I remember like this, I mean, there really wasn't a lot, at least in my memory, between, you know, in the world of found footage between Blair Witch Project in the late 90s and this in 2007. There, I mean, there were a few things here and there. Cloverfield was one, and you know, a couple other little things. But this was actually really scary when it came out. So I remember, I don't think I saw it in theaters. No, I know I didn't see it in theaters. I remember renting it and checking it out, and I was like, man, this is actually quite. I was a freshman in college, watched it in the dorm, and I was like, "This is kind of spooky, man." You know, I didn't want to be going to sleep with the lights off anymore there for a little bit, you know, because it was kind of wild. But I remember, you know, watched it a ton back then. The second one came out, we watched it. I remember I got you to watch it, and you know, somebody almost blew you up with a torch, but that wasn't me. And
with Axe body spray and a lighter. It
was all for the effect of the jump scare. But yeah, I mean, the first movie was so good because it was really subtle. And you know, now when you go back and look at it, at least this time through, I don't know if it just hasn't aged well. It was still enjoyable, but I felt like it was really slow. But back then, I used to watch it nonstop. I mean, I watched this thing, I don't know, a dozen times. That might be why I didn't find it as scary anymore. But yeah, I mean, then I followed the franchise throughout all the way until the marked ones, I think. And then I didn't see the last two until more recently. I watched the next of kin here like this week, and then the other one I watched I don't know, maybe a couple years ago. But yeah, it was solid. I thought it was, you know, they each movie did something to kind of build on the last here and there, and yeah, it was groundbreaking.
Hell yeah. And yeah, kind of like I'll elaborate what Brad said. He did get me into the franchise because the fourth Paranormal Activity movie was coming out in theaters and he didn't want to go alone. Such a wuss. So he decided to bring me along, which I have yet, or at this time, I hated horror movies. I wanted nothing to do with them. I didn't give them a fair chance. I thought they were just all about jump scares and oohs and ahs and no storytelling. And yeah, so this franchise was my absolute worst nightmare. And he got me to force me to watch 1 through 3. And then we saw 4 at the theater, and I hated them. And I never revisited this series for a long, long time until we decided this Patron Poll won. And that's why, okay, it's time to dive into this franchise again. And I'll be honest with you, this might be a guilty pleasure franchise for going on forward because I absolutely have a good time with each and every single one of them. Some better than the others, but I forgot how effective some of these jump scares were, especially the first couple of ones. Like, holy crap, I've never jumped so hard in a long time. So like, I just have a good time with this franchise. I'm excited to talk about it here tonight.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so let me see I saw some cool comments here saying, yeah, seeing the Paranormal Activity movies in theaters are some of the best or of my best movie experiences. And yeah, this would be a fun horror movie to go like have a whole packed theater and just to have a good time with it, see who jumps the hardest.
Oh yeah, dude, they were awesome in the dark theater with the loud sounds and stuff. Yeah, that's the best way to experience these, man.
Oh, absolutely. And Mika's in the house. Mika! It's a different spelling, but still Mika in the house.
I did not even put that together.
Well, there you go. And then Heather says, I saw the first 3 in theaters. Great theater experience. The audience was great for each one. And that's awesome. Let's see here. And the anticipation is fun. And let's see here. And yeah, great point, Gory Tiger. Saying, I like horror movies that give you an uneasy feeling from the start. And yeah, this is exactly what this franchise does. And so are y'all... Oh, sorry. Last comment. And then I promise we'll get started. Backtrack Cinema, that is J-Man, one of our good friends on YouTube, just recently started this brand new channel, if that's you see right here. So give him a sub today. He would really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude. Freaking good stuff, man. All around. Going old school.
Absolutely. So it's time to begin. And before we even... Sorry, I know we said before, but I promise this last time. Just if you are watching right now or watching after the fact, let us know, what did you all think about the Paranormal Activity franchise? Do you like it? Do you hate it, or just let us know. Even let us know your tier, because we got the tier link in the description if you want to fill one out here tonight. Again, just let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
Yes.
Yeah, so all right, I'm finally pulling this up now. So here we go. Ignore the tabs up here. I don't want you all getting any ideas. So all right, how do y'all want? Actually, Mel, you are our guest. So do you want to do these in movie order, or you just want me to randomly pick one?
Let's do them in order.
Alrighty, so and here's how we'll do it as well. Mel, and Brad's going to be looking at the comic section because I can't see anything right now. I'm just looking at the tier list. So we'll go Mel, then we'll go Brad, and then we'll go me for each of these movies. So our first movie, what better way to start with the first one of Paranormal Activity, the one that started it all. Mel, what are your thoughts about Paranormal Activity?
So the first one, is it too early to say that it is my favorite of the franchise?
Oh no, not at all.
I don't think so.
Well, it's the movie that, like Brad said, started it all, and it was epic when it came out. It was very Blair Witchy when it kind of came out. It gave you all those same feels. And upon watching it again, I mean, now that you kind of know what's happening and where all the jump scares happen and stuff, it's not quite as scary, but it's still eerie and, gives you the wig a little bit. So I would, do you want me to tell you where I would put it? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Extracurricular activities with the camera on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking it to the top.
Yeah. And I forgot to let Brad, if you want to go for these tiers real quick.
Yeah, dude. The best of the best, the top, the cream of the crop is just what she just said. Extracurricular activities with the camera on. The next best is Bloody Mary, just because that's always a good time. I don't know, but it's also a little scary at the same time. But it makes for a good story. We'll put it there for that way. Right in the middle, we got a flaming Ouija board again. That is also a good story, but not something you want to see take place in your household at all. So it's kind of right there in the middle. The second worst is Mika as a boyfriend, because that guy really sucked ass throughout the movie.
I was telling Brad, I was like, poor Mika, man.
He did not do very well whenever his shit was hitting the fan, and he's egging him on, getting Ouija boards, getting cameras, all that fun stuff. It did not help the situation at all. And at the bottom is Secrets with Toby, because nobody wants to be involved with that mess.
Nope.
And Brad, I hate to bust your bubble here, because I'm going to actually make that change real quick. Is Toby with an I? I know it absolutely makes no sense, but it is what it is. So I just
Toby it up, man. Yeah, put the I, cross your I's and dot your T's and all that fun stuff, man. Just do it.
Well, I'll do the best I can. But Brad, what about you? What do you think about the Paranormal Activity or I was about to say franchise? What do you think of the first movie?
Yeah, like I said earlier, man, it was groundbreaking at the time. Obviously, it set the way for this whole franchise. And, it was like the most, I know your trivia from the other night will disagree. I still say it's the most profitable horror movie out there because of how much stacks it made compared to the budget. But apparently it's not the case. But
$50 was in my damn hands. And then Blair Witch Project screwed it all up.
Oh, did that beat it or something?
Yeah, like Blair Witch Project was the most like the money it cost to make the movie, and then the amount of money it made. The Blair Witch Project had the biggest differential because I thought it was Paranormal Activity because it made a lot of money with hardly any effort into it. But the damn Blair Witch Project won, and I got so mad just because we betted all of our points at the end of the trivia and we lost it all.
Oh, man, that was close too, man. It was second place. But yeah, I mean, it was groundbreaking. What I like about this compared to a lot of the other movies, it is really subtle. You have really just two characters, one household, and some weird stuff going on, and those things kind of build and build and build throughout the course of the movie. It doesn't start off and there's witches flying around everywhere and crazy stuff going on. It's very subtle at the beginning, just like a door opening here, like some sheets moving there, like your girl getting up in the middle of the night at one point, staring at her boyfriend in bed for 2 hours, all those little things that kind of build up and is just creepy and make you feel really uneasy. I do think going back now, I don't like it as much as I used to. I don't know if it's because of, I think the way I don't know, maybe I prefer a higher pace. Yeah, I don't know why. Because I used to absolutely love it. But I still really do. I mean, dig it. It's still a good movie. I still think so. Absolutely. As far as this goes, man, it's going to the top. Extracurricular activities, man. Put it up there.
Okay, so you don't like
me.
it as you used to, but you're still putting it at the top of the top.
Oh yeah. For this franchise, absolutely, dude. It's definitely at the yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
This movie was so effective with like the littlest amount of stuff, though. It's like every movie that goes on, they add more and more and more to get you scared. But this one did like the bare minimum to scare you, but you're like scared out of your mind. Like there's like a good 2 minutes of this movie where you're just hearing footsteps and nothing is happening on the camera, and you're over here like, ah! Like dying,
dude. Yeah, absolutely. Used to nighttime, lights off. I wouldn't watch this damn thing. Not a chance. There was that one scene where you had that loud freaking. I don't know what was going on. It sounded like a rhino ran into the wall down in the basement, and that scene alone was that shit was creepy, man. Now there's not really a lot of jump scares either, which I like. It really turns into that throughout the rest of the franchise. But this is more just kind of like you were saying there. It's just more subtle and stuff, and you're just kind of sitting there waiting for something.
Man, I don't know what to say, guys. Except I agree with you two. So I am putting it. Yeah, of course I'm putting it right here. I have so much memories with this movie. The first time Brad made me watch this damn movie, but upon rewatch, kind of like Mel touched upon, they did so little, but it was so damn affected. So God, I can't talk tonight. But sorry, it's just thinking about Toby. That's all it is just freaking just this demon, which I always thought it was a ghost. But it's definitely a demon. I know, which we'll get to more of the other movies later, why it is a demon. But just the simple scares of just like, and how they do the scares is what always interests me. Kind of like, having one person like being the one controlling the door. You have one like blowing like air into the mattress, like to the pillows and all that. And plus just the two main actors of Katie and Mika, which is their actual first names, which I thought that was really cool. I thought they did a really good job in this movie of selling the fear and just acting natural. They really makes you feel like this actually happened. So that is why it deserves to be at the top of the top. Like it's a 4 out of 5 for me, but for this particular tier maker list, it definitely goes to the top.
Put it at the top where it belongs. Dude, remember the scene where they have the powder or whatever on the ground and the footsteps start like that? Like those little things like that are just epic, dude.
Yeah.
Like the scene at night when she gets up and she just like walks over to the other side of the bed and just stands there, and then all of a sudden you see the clock and it starts like speeding up, and then you see like how many freaking hours she just stood there like staring at him. That's all she was doing too. She was just standing there. Why was that so scary? It's horrifying.
Well, it's just like when you're asleep, you don't know what's going on, and that's what's like. Cause sometimes I even have fear. I wake up in the middle of the night randomly. I was like, is somebody staring at me? Shut up, Toby. I'm trying to sleep, and then I go back to sleep like it's no big deal. But like, no, I could totally understand the fear in that.
The thing that gets me the most is when the camera is just like pointed at the person sleeping and nothing happens, and you're just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then all of a sudden you see the blanket just kind of start going like this, and you're like, no, stop, don't do it.
And I give this franchise a lot of credit. I'll keep referring back to it. You really like where it gets you with the scares most of the time is when you are just staring at the screen and you're waiting for something to happen. You're like paying attention to all the clues around that what the camera angle gives you, and you're just looking all over the place. And then when you see something, you do like the Leonardo DiCaprio point. You're like, oh, there it is.
I see it. It's like where,
and that's why it scares you too. Yeah. Well, where's Walt? Where's Toby?
Where's Toby? Oh yeah, we gotta play Where's Toby.
It's a great use of negative space, man. It really just, I mean, that's what it's all about. It just makes you, like you said, man, you're just waiting for something, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And the last, like, did you know, the house that they used to film this movie is actually the director's house.
Yeah, I wouldn't stay there though.
Really?
Yeah, so like if I were the director, I'd be selling that house and buying me a new one, which I'm pretty sure he did with all the moolah he made. So, Brad, did you want to get some comments before we go to movie number 2?
Yeah, a couple. Speaking of 2, I saw this a while ago, and I'll see if I can't find it again. Oh, Horrorhead said part 2 has one of my favorite jump scares in any horror movie. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm assuming it's going to be the closet or the the kitchen cabinets all bursting open at the seams.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Explosions. Yeah, that's my guess. If it's something else, let us know. But that was definitely creepy, which we'll get into in a minute. Mika's talking about the jump scares in the first couple of films were great, very well done. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's that the way they freaking drag you along and make you want it before they give it to you. It's really cool. Let's see. There was Matt Facci was in the house. I don't know if he still is, but he says, "What's up, you sexy, good, real peeps?
What's going on, Facci?"
Yeah, we're saying it right back at you, man. I
saw Galford Dogs is in the chat. I saw Cole was in the chat, and
yes.
yeah, that's all the newcomers. So what's going on, Cole and Galford's dog?
Yes, Galford's dog's in the house. He says, "Wait, is it weird for your girlfriend to watch you all night while you sleep? Are there other signs or is that fine in isolation?" Yeah,
well, in a way, what Santa Claus freaking stares at you because he knows when you're sleeping.
Brett,
what? I'm just saying. He probably just stares.
Well, now Santa Claus is a weirdo.
Well, ain't he a weirdo because he's already breaking and entering already? Well, it's okay. You know what? This ain't a Santa Claus lore stream. It's a Paranormal Activity, so we'll save it for December, Brad.
Yeah.
There you go. That sounds like a fun one.
Santa sleigh with Bill Goldberg, dude. That's not what we need here tonight.
No. It's the one with David Harbour that's coming out in December on December 2nd for Violent Night.
Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah, way better. So, all right. Let's see here. We're going to go Paranormal Activity 2. This is the sequel to the original because that's why it's called sequel. And that's why there's a 2. So, Mel, what do you think about Paranormal Activity 2?
I'm referring to my notes here. I enjoyed this one. It's kind of like a carry on of the first one, but you kind of get to see the other side of the story, right? Like the first one starts with Katie and Mika, and then the next one goes to Christy and her family, who's Katie's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of get to see how Katie becomes possessed, I guess, which I didn't even realize that until this watch through that's what was going on. Like these movies are all tied together really nicely. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't realize that whole thing was happening because when I watched the first 3, they were so spread out. I didn't even think about it. So it was really cool to see the other side of the story, to see that there was stuff that happened. So I guess this is kind of a prequel in a way because you're seeing what happened before the Katie and Mika situation. It had some really good jump scares. I don't know why, but I hate it when there's like little kids in horror movies because I'm always just like, don't hurt the kid, leave him alone. So then my focus is more just like worrying about the kid the whole time. Like he's mine or something. So like the scene when little baby Hunter is like going up the side of the crib, I'm over here like, freaking out. So this one was a really good sequel to the first one. I kind of want to put it in Bloody Mary, but I kind of want to put it in extracurricular just because there were some really great scenes in this one. And it's like they went harder, but they didn't go like too hard where you're like, oh, this is just a bad sequel, you know? But I would say Bloody Mary. Let's just say Bloody Mary.
Well, okay, don't say Bloody Mary too many times or Bloody Mary's actually going to show up and Bloody Mary is going to kill us.
Well, good thing I'm not looking in a mirror, right? You have to look in a mirror for that.
Well, technically our computer monitors are sort of like mirrors.
Damn it!
I know, we're screwed. Like, Brad, go ahead.
Cover myself up.
Two for me was I really enjoyed it when it came out. It added some new characters. It made it, so there's some more storyline like going on. And like you said, Mel, I like the way that they combined it with the first movie. Like they did that kind of Saw 4 approach when you didn't realize it was a prequel until like kind of later in the movie, like maybe halfway through or something like that. Or I think maybe it was a little bit earlier, but it was still like, it took a minute to establish the new characters, and then it brought Katie in. It's like, oh shit, this is actually going on like in the same way, and this right before the first movie. So that was cool. I enjoyed that. And I liked it had some good scares like the one you mentioned there. You brought the dog into the mix. You had some good barks, here and there. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, man, it was good. But I don't know. I feel like on this most recent watch again, it was just like kind of boring for me. I don't know. There was still some good scares. There were, with the like what Heather was saying, assuming that's what she was talking about with the cabinet doors bursting open, and the exploding pool vacuums that are flying in the air and all that stuff was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was interesting, right? The ending was good. I remember the ending being really good because it just kind of like chaos ensued. Like it was like a lot more chaotic than the first movie. So it picked up at the end and really just hammered home. But I feel like this is where they really start putting a lot of filler in the movies. I still really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of the stronger ones in this franchise. I'm going to give it a Bloody Mary myself.
Alrighty. I'm thinking the entire time like should be Bloody Mary, should be a Flaming Ouija board. So then I remember I absolutely hate Ouija boards. So I'll just go ahead and go Bloody Mary myself for this, because this is a good. Is it the best sequel? No, but is it? But did it do its job as a sequel? Because normally with sequels, you got to do 2 times more than what the original does. It does do that because it actually gives us more of a story in this one, and kind of like what's going on. It gives us bigger like jump scares, and kind of like Brad alluded to, more chaotic scenes. The one that really scared me was the basement scene. The basement scene absolutely terrified me. I was kind of like, I noticed I was starting to look at my phone a lot, and I finally had to check my phone. It's like, no, Brett, you're going to get some courage. You're going to watch this damn scene. And then that's when freaking possessed Christy comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to push pause and go to the bathroom real quick. So that was my experience with that particular scene. But yeah. So I like the ending of this movie, with the small fact that they pretty much copied exactly, how Mika fly to the camera. They got Christy flying to the camera too. I wasn't the biggest fan of that decision. But other than that, I still have a really good time with Paranormal Activity 2. So that's why I'm putting it at Bloody Mary.
It's a good pick, man.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that scene when she gets drugged into the basement, and you're like, no, anywhere but there. Like,
I know.
That she just like flies down the stairs and then like goes in the basement. The door shuts. You're like, what's happening down there?
Yeah, it's like, and what were they doing down there? Like, were they having like a party, or like, or what's that one game that you play in the closet?
Twister. They were playing Twister down there. Oh, 3 minutes in heaven, or is that?
Yeah, or in their case, it's 3 minutes or 3 hours of hell. But
yeah, there you go. That's the new game. 3 hours of hell. You got to go in a closet.
And Toby's like, "Come here, Christy."
Yikes.
Oh, and dude, that came out of nowhere too. Like they took the dog to the vet, and then she's just hanging out on the stairs and everything. Like you're just waiting on them, and then she just gets freaking slung down the steps, man.
Yeah,
like,
can we talk about that for a minute? Like, how long were they gone at the vet? It was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something when they got back, right? It was like,
hey, it was a rough visit. It was a rough visit, okay?
Yes, it was.
But no, I'm with you. Plus, like, how long were they gone? Like, I know you just asked that, but like, what time did they get back at? Like 1 or 2 in the morning? What vet office is open at 1 and 2 in the morning?
Yeah, why wouldn't you just leave the dog there and then have the vet like contact you later or something like that? Yeah, I don't know. It was really weird how long that.
Yeah. Well, first off, poor dog, and then and just the last comment, I just thought about this too. I thought the baby hunter, that was a good baby. It did what it was supposed, what the baby was supposed to at certain scenes, because kids are just such a wild card in movies. But no, that baby did a good job.
I need to watch the documentary and see how they rigged up that like crib scene. Like, was it the real baby or was it? I mean, it was probably a fake baby, right? that was like sliding up the side.
It seemed real to me.
I know. Me too, and it's freaking me out.
God, it should freak out Brad Morvan. Brad, did that freak you out now? Did you get a new perspective?
Of course, man. It was creepy as a mofo. Of course, dude.
Oh man. So I saw Brother Fluff's in the chat. What's going on there, Brother Fluff?
Hello and welcome. He's just saying howdy, Captain Howdy.
Yeah, and then Robert the Wolfman's here too, saying howdy, folks.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to the party.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm checking comments too, unless if you see anything else.
I got a few start here, man. I got Galford's dog coming in saying he fell into a bottle of Jack before watching the second one, but remember something about a swimming pool. Yes, dude, the swimming pool is that, yeah, there's a lot of time. You get people like swimming in the pool, you know, with their cameras and stuff like that. This is where Mika gets jealous and wants to buy a camera. This is where the first time he gets to see the camera. So he's out there in the pool. Like I said earlier, you got vacuums like shooting out of the pool in the middle of the night, all kinds of cool stuff. The pool is a very central focus to this movie. I think they could have done more with it. It would have been kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mika came in saying, "Spare the children," of course.
Yes.
That's what makes scary movies like more terrifying when children are involved. Unless if they're the children from the corn, then I will punt every one of those kids.
Or Village of the Damned.
Oh God, no. No.
You got to know something's wrong when every single kid has white hair, you know.
It's like, what's wrong with these kids? I said, just for men, these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Cole comes in. He said, "Yeah, I love how you can watch all of them separately, but you can also watch them as their own story." Absolutely, man. They all stand on their own in one way or another. You might get confused here and there, but you can still enjoy it for what it is. Vision Films here says Katie snapping the dad's neck and then her rushing into the baby's room scared me. Yeah, that was intense at the end, man. The old neck snap.
Yeah, they did that a lot in this franchise. Now that I think about it. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, they did.
Was that the last comment, Brad?
I got one from Chris here saying it's a midquel. Takes place during the first movie, like Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Christmas, or Saw 4.
Chris knocking out that damn Disney knowledge with the hidden Beauty and the Beast Christmas movie. My man. So I'm a little bit of a Disney nut. So when you throw in those like hidden Disney movies that don't get talked about enough, like it makes me happy. So let's see here. All right, we're gonna go away from Disney because we're gonna go from happy times to like holy shit times. And no other holy shit movie than Paranormal Activity 3. And this one is actually the prequel that Chris kind of like was what Brad was alluding to with the second one. So Paranormal Activity 3. Mel, what do you think about this prequel?
Okay. So this is the one when the sisters are younger, and then you kind of get the backstory as to how all of this came about. Because they spoke about it a little bit in the second one about how Christy was like haunted or whatever and stuff like that when they were younger. This one is when they start. Correct me if I'm wrong, when they start the whole witch coven business, right? This is when that whole thing starts. So this is for me where the franchise kind of shifts from being like this really cool ghosty thing to this like, okay, they're witches thing. Which, I mean, as it goes on, it's kind of cool, but then when I think about it, I'm like, what else would they would have done with the demonic ghost thing? I mean, would that have been able to travel for 6 more movies? I don't know. But I mean, this one was fun. You got to see all the like before stuff. I thought the mom was really pretty in this.
Oh yeah.
And I really liked her boyfriend too, because he was clearly not the dad, right? He was like the stepdad, but yet he was like
that's
super
Dennis.
cool. Yeah, Dennis. He was
Dennis.
like super cool and like really cared about the kids and stuff. And his scene at the end, his like spoil? Can we spoil? I mean, we're kind of spoiling, right?
No, absolutely. I feel like the only one we're not really supposed to spoil is Next of Kin.
'Cause
But
it's
I
new.
will play our little Darth Stewie clip when it comes time. But no, it's past the 5-year mark. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so his death scene in the end was like the worst thing I had seen up to this point. I like really loved it, but also really hated it. It was horrifying. So I hate to like go in order, but I kind of want to put this one in Flaming Ouija board, just because I don't know. It just wasn't as good as the first two, but I really liked the end. That death scene was really bad. But there's nothing really scary to me about witches, so it kind of lost its like scare factor for me in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could see like where this one, like it's starting to go away towards this. I like for me, it's after 3 where it starts to go down and scare, kind of like you say, like when witches are involved, or as they call it in this franchise, their coven. But Brad, what do you think about Paranormal Activity 3?
Yeah, I'll second. The ending was epic, dude. That kill at the end was like probably one of the coolest things they've done in this franchise from a way.
I know why you like the kill, Brad. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's because it reminds you of Friday the 13th Part 6 with the sheriff.
Sheriff Garrett's getting that back snap, man. Well, you don't have to pay the $35 at the chiropractor. You can do it for free. Just call your buddy freaking Toby and get him squared away. But yeah, that was good. That was really good though. That was the sound of the crack was just like, and like it was awesome. And like the effects there with that, it was all really well done. And what I really liked about this movie is going back to the 80s. That whole vibe with it. I think they nail it. I think they going through this house. They got the camera like the old school VHS, which I call bullshit on the fact that he's running all these cameras and actually watching all the footage. That's impossible because he actually would have to go back on the VHSs and watch every freaking minute of it. But yeah, so I mean, I really did like the setting though, going back in time, doing all that stuff. The house really did feel like it felt like it was a 90s house, like late 80s, early 90s house. So I could buy that. And yeah, like you said, Mel, they kind of built up to this story in the first couple movies. Like the first movie, Katie found that picture up in the attic, with the, that burnt up a little bit of her, as a younger kind of alluding to the fact that this has been going on her whole life for most of her life. And then, in the next movie, her and Christy were, having those conversations with each other. So yeah, I like that. And seeing them kind of getting exposed to this whole haunting or whatever it is, which, yeah, whatever, a demon, whatever it is going on. Seeing the origin story of that was really cool. And I thought it was really kind of, yeah, I mean, I like the characters a lot in this movie. All of them, it's some of my favorite characters in the franchise. So actually, the ending I thought was epic when they went to the grandma's house. You thought they were going to be safe. And then they're creeping around. They run into the old ladies out in the garage or wherever they were at. That was spooky, man. Man, a lot of crazy stuff happened in the end. I'd put this up at the top, extracurricular, man. I think this is one of the better ones in the franchise.
Ooh.
It's one of the most fun movies from start to finish. I think it goes by pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing I like about this franchise too, except for the first one, and kind of like the last two. These movies are really well paced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I do think they can be really slow. For some reason, for whatever reason, this time through, yeah, there's a lot of nothing, especially later in these in the franchise. But this movie, I thought it had enough characters. I liked the parents, like the mom and the stepdad. I thought they were really fun. And yeah, man, there was some good like the Bloody Mary sequence with the babysitter guy, whatever his name was, Jermaine. I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Why did he do that? I would have been like, hell no, I'm not going upstairs and playing Bloody Mary.
Especially with a young child.
You
like,
crazy
you know what
kid?
that looks like in 2020?
Yikes.
But yeah,
But
he was up there like freaking, yeah, he's like, yeah, let's play some Bloody Mary. I'm stoked. Let's do this. Like, he was a fun character. I liked it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, the dudes in this one were really fun. Is this the one where they had the panning camera too?
Yes,
like,
and I was going to
pans
get
from
to that damn camera.
This is kind of a callback to like the first one where the camera sits there and nothing happens for like the longest time, but it builds up momentum. In this one, I feel like it had the opposite effect because there was like at one point in the movie, it pans like 6 times and nothing happened. So that got a little stale for me in that part.
Well, and I can understand that, but for me, and I actually talked to Chris, our buddy Chris Snyder in the chat, that I hate that damn camera that rotates from left to right. I hate it. But it's absolute genius in this franchise right here to have that type of camera. Kind of like you said, it goes back and you never know. Like, it builds that anticipation where it makes you fully pay attention to the screen, and you pay attention so damn hard. And when something suddenly happens, bam, it scares the shit out of you. And that's exactly what it did for me. Especially, this is the movie too where all the furniture and the pots and pans were on the ceiling, and it came crashing down. They're like, nope, screw this. We're going to grandma's house. And I'm like, you know what? That's, even though kind of like how the movie ended, that was not what we called the best decision to do. But for, that scene actually reminded me, Mel, have you seen the haunted house with the Wangs? Oh, what are the brothers' name that did Scary Movie?
The
Begins
Wayans
with
brothers?
a W. Yes. Yeah, it begins with a W. Is that what you just said?
I think so. Yeah, the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, that's it. So, somebody in the chat let us know if we're. Yeah, the haunted house movie, and they had cousin Ray come in and all that, and all the furniture's gone. It's like, what happened to your furniture, cuz? That's what that scene.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, you need to look at that clip. You need to look up haunted house Ray, and you'll thank me. It's absolutely hilarious.
I will make a note. Haunted house Ray.
I'll send you the video if I remember, but like. But Paranormal Activity 3, actually for me, this is my favorite in the franchise, so you kind of already know where it's going from here. Just because this is where I got scared the most, especially the third act. I was absolutely terrified with everything that they were doing. It's not the perfect movie because of the sole fact, because like Mel, as you mentioned, they decided to include the Coven officially, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that, just because the less we know, the more scarier something is. In my opinion. So, but for me, Paranormal Activity 3 is extracurricular activities with the camera on.
Hell yeah.
So with that too, and Mel's flaming Ouija board, that's going to go to the Bloody Mary.
Ooh, right in the middle.
Yeah, you know what? And that's it's a good place to put that movie too. So I have absolutely no issues with that.
Yeah, I'm good with it, man. I think this one just it did kind of change. I think Mika said it a minute ago. They switched up the formula in part 3. Not really sure if it worked. For me, it did. It feels more like a traditional. It feels a little bit. It does feel a little bit less like the first 2 Paranormal Activity movies, but it feels more like kind of a traditional found footage flick. And yeah, it just adds a little bit more excitement for me. In a nutshell.
And they change up the formula, but they don't completely abandon what they were already doing. Like throughout the rest of the movies, there's still that possession thing happening. I don't know if it really makes sense in the other movies. Because it's kind of like you got witches over here. What the hell is going on over here? Like, are the witches doing this, or how is this happening, or why is you know what I mean? But they don't abandon themselves, so it kind of still makes sense throughout.
Dude, what about when was it Katie or I think it was Katie jumping off the the second floor thing? She's like, oh, and you're like,
that was Christy.
Okay, yeah, it was Christy. You thought she was going to break a leg or whatever, but she hops off and she's like, "Ooh, that was fun." She goes back up and does it again.
Damn it, I wish I could have recorded that sound.
It was crazy, dude. That was, it was full stuff like that, man.
Yeah, and another note too with Paranormal Activity 3, because again, it is a prequel. What makes prequels work for me is that if we do like movies in the franchise and it has an interesting story and I want to know more about it, that's when I want a prequel. So, and Paranormal Activity 1 and 2 made intriguing enough story. Like, okay, I want to know what's fully going on. And that's why I think Paranormal Activity 3 works great as a prequel. So that's what I want to throw that note out there. And Brad, lastly, do you know who my favorite character in this movie was?
Toby.
No, it wasn't Toby. You know who it is.
No, it wasn't Toby.
Bloody Mary.
Brad. You know who it is. You're just screwing with me at this point.
Who was it?
You dude. It's the stepdad. It's Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Which that's a Geico commercial. Just type in a Geico alligator. You'll thank me on that one too. It's an inside joke.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Just reaching for the check. But
Oh my goodness.
let's see here. Banner says any of them would be flaming and Ouija boards at best for me. So you're not the biggest fan of this franchise. Like, you respect it enough, but you're not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah. That's
And,
kind of how I feel.
Yeah, and that's not a bad way to think about it. And then also, Galfer Stock says the Katie trilogy. I'm actually going to correct you on that one because I call it a Katie quadrilogy or whatever. See, I'm just making up words at this point.
I love it.
A quadrilogy. We're calling it a quadrilogy. Damn
A
it.
quadrilogy?
A quadrilogy or quad.
Quadrilogy?
Anyways,
Is that what it is?
4
Quadrants.
movies in a timeline, just because Katie was a part of the fourth one too, which that's actually a nice segue to Paranormal Activity 4.
I might have to correct you too, because Katie was a part of the 5th and the 6th one. She went bye-bye and went next of kin.
All right, in the hexagon. Chris?
Okay, so do you want me to do my thing?
Yeah, you do it. So Paranormal Activity 4.
Okay, so this one we get the story of Hunter / Wyatt and what I guess happened to him after Katie ran off with him in the second one, right?
Correct.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like this one all that much because there was a lot of plot holes in this that didn't really make sense. It's like Katie ran off with Hunter, and then somehow he ended up, like, she gave him up for adoption, but why? To this other family. But then later she comes back for him, but then she also has this other weird kid who then just disappears at the end. You never really figure out where he went or what happened to him or whatever, and why was he so weird. I mean, clearly it was weird because he was like growing up with this like possessed Katie person. So like a lot of that didn't really make sense to me. It's like, why did all of this happen? Why, I did really like that. I don't know what her name is, but the young girl that is kind of the main character and her boyfriend, like, I thought that they had really good chemistry together, and the way that they were kind of moving through the movie was really interesting. But other than that, the story of this one and the end got all witchy with all these people coming out of nowhere, and they all had like I don't know. I didn't really like this one. So I kind of want to give this one a Mika as a bad boyfriend, but I feel bad for Mika just saying that.
Man, Brad, do you mind if I take this one real quick?
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Birdie. Go ahead, little
Okay,
Birdie.
because when Mel just said with all the people, like, first off, were they in the backyard? Was that like clarified? Were they in the backyard? Were they in the street? Or
I
where
guess
were
I
they?
thought that they were in like the front yard in the street, but I could be wrong about that.
Well, that's the impression
were
I
in one of
got,
the yards.
because my second question is going to be, where the hell did they park all their cars? Like, we should have saw this coming.
Yeah, dude, that was ridiculous, man. That scene
Makes no
was so.
sense.
It was such a silly ending, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It doesn't make any logical sense for them to be there, unless
Yeah,
it was
like,
unless it's
they're
like
not
us and there's
barbecuing or
tunnels.
anything, or unless they're going to barbecue freaking Catherine Newton because like they attacked her at the end because she was not having a very good night.
Yeah, dude. It was like, dude, they didn't have any, like, it was not a celebration. It was dark outside. They didn't have any lights on. It was just like all of them just running around in the backyard doing, like, I don't know. It was really weird.
Can I change my vote? I kind of want to put this secrets with Toby.
No, you absolutely
Like, the more
can.
we're talking about it, the more I'm just like, man, this one really.
It's just like, and also it's like, hey, here's the group email. Meet at this place. Brad, what time are they going to meet at this place? You better say it.
9:00.
Thank you, because it's exactly at 9:00. So that's kind of weird how we just nailed it right there. Perfect timing. But Paranormal Activity 4, just at the end of the day, it's just one big meh movie for me. Even though I kind of have a kind of like a, I go easy on this movie. Brad, I'm not going to go to where you think I was going to go with that. But I just have.
I kind of thought you were going to go there too.
Damn it! But God, that was one of the most. That's probably the most embarrassing story on this channel's history. But we'll tell you off air. But Paranormal Activity 4, it's just okay. But I can't help but like it because of the memories behind it. Brad dragging me into the theater to watch this. But Catherine Newton, I really did like her performance because at the end of the day, this is kind of like her start into the horror genre because then after that, she got her big role in Freaky and other big roles too. Freaky, the movie, not her being an actual freak.
That's where I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to say you had a real big crush on her, and that's why you want to go.
Well, I can't have a crush on her. I cannot have a crush on her in Paranormal Activity 4 because that would be creepy.
That's why I was like,
That would be freaking that one guy playing Bloody Mary with that little girl in the bathroom.
So you're the guy in the bathroom and she's the little girl.
Oh my God. Okay. Wrapping this up, I just thought Paranormal Activity 4 was just okay for me. So it deserves to go to Secrets with Toby, but for me, I'm going to put Mika as the boyfriend.
You know, I remember seeing this in theaters and you know, obviously the theater experience was cool as always, but yeah, I mean, there's just a lot that we go to this new family. Yeah, we go to this new family that we don't care about. You know, like we don't know these people at all. We don't really give a crap. Like nothing really, I don't know, but they still try to connect it to the first movies, and it just gets weird. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense. And, you know, there's some decent moments in there, some good scares, a good neck snap towards the end. A second time in the franchise now, maybe, I think, which was kind of cool. I like that. The scene in the garage was pretty tense, I guess, when she gets locked in the garage and they start the car or whatever.
That scene was really good.
That was decent. That was solid. But then they start bringing in the Xbox stuff and they get the Kinect out of there. It really dates the movie. And you know, they have the little dots and all that weird stuff going on. I remember there was the scene with a knife that was like hanging up over
that's the one that made me nervous.
Yeah, it was a good little tense moment. It wasn't half bad, but this movie had so much of nothing happening in it. I swear they were playing golf at one point. They were like, you know, like all this random stuff. I don't know, man. I think I could put it at Mika. I think I could put it at a Mika. It's just because, yeah, I don't know, man. There's enough redeeming things in it that I think you could put it there.
Well, and they set up this weird situation between the mom and dad too. Like in the beginning, they like kind of let you know that they don't have a great relationship, but then they're like, okay, but never mind. Throughout the rest of the movie, we're not going to tell you anything about it.
Yeah,
it's just them being like mean to each other.
And the dad was an idiot. Like you've seen all this video footage and stuff of like, you know, like crazy stuff, and he's like, that's a good joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, great video editing, you kids.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the movie that started the jump scare where like the thing swishes behind the person's back, right? Like this is the first time we see that, because that kind of carries through the rest of the movies too. I noticed is they're like alternate jump scare. This is like where the jump scares started or something,
or like the overuse of it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this one had a lot of jump scares in it, actually. There was one scene where she just like jumps in the bed and like she's like, oh, I'm back on the camera, and like it just gets all intense there. So you know, that's a really good point, because when I was watching this one, I actually was thinking like there's not a whole lot of like scare factor to this, because all the jump scares are like themselves doing it. Like you said, she jumps on the bed. Yeah, it jump scared you, but it really wasn't, you know, like the demonic entity doing that or anything, you know? Yeah. Like there's a lot of that. The boyfriend did like a jump scare at one point too, I think. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and I hated the boyfriend too. Like he was just dumb. It's like he smoked weed. It's like he smoked weed every day.
All the boyfriends were dumb in this franchise, man. Let's just put it, let's just cut it to the chase.
I kind of liked him.
It started with
He was like the
Mika.
only one that was like all in with her. He was the only one that was like, "Oh my god!"
He wanted to go all in with her. Even at one time, he called Wyatt a freaking cock blocker too, which I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, poor Wyatt! Like, don't forget about that bathroom scene though, when Wyatt's in the tub and he goes under the water and he's like under there forever. I was like,
that was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, first off, he breaks the world record for holding your breath underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
yes.
So yeah, I think if the movie had enough of those scenes like that elevates it just a little bit, but yeah.
And I just saw in the chat that boom, it's Emily. What's going on there, Emily? How are you doing? And then Chris Snyder saying Part 4 could go hang out with Mika. And let's see here. Emily says, I remember seeing Paranormal Activity 4 in the theater, and the ending is easily one of my top what the fuck moments. And that is a great way to describe it.
Dude, it was that was pretty chaotic.
Yeah. And this is actually cool too. Yeah, and who was the other kid? Like because that was the thing too. There was like a oh my god moment where you've realized that what is his name, Riley, in the movie, or what's the
other
kid's name?
Yeah, I think it's Riley.
Yeah, Riley, and his name was, and he actually turned out to be Hunter from the baby from the second one. I'm like, okay, like that, like to me that confused me a little.
Oh wait,
bit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like
one of the
that was like the big shocker. That was the twist of the movie.
Huh.
But it was
exactly like
weird.
you can just tell right then and there how ineffective the twist was in that.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, and then this Chris brings up a good point because Christopher Landon does play a role in this franchise, saying Freaky was Christopher Landon as well, just like most of the Paranormal Activity movies. And the connection between that is that's how Christopher Landon got Catherine Newton on for Freaky.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for this franchise here. So, man, speaking of like wild cards, we got the most wild card movie in this franchise, and that's Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. So, Mel, what do you think about this movie?
So this one, yeah, it's the furthest removed from the franchise at this point, because I think the only callback to the two sisters is like the main kid finds a picture of them or something like that. And but other than that, it just goes to like the witchy stuff, and how he and this woman in this movie has anything to do with the rest of the story throughout the franchise, I have no idea. But I did like this one. It was effective in what it was trying to do, and it had some of the best one-liners. So the main guy's friend, sorry, I don't remember everybody's name, but the main guy's friend, he had so many good one-liners when they found, when they put the GoPro down the register and they saw the full frontal. This one also has full frontal, so that gives it extra points for the dudes. But then so they're like watching this woman stand there, and then the old witch lady comes in and she's naked too. And the friend's like, dude, I just lost my boner forever. I laughed for days about that line, and just the way he says it too. He says some other stuff in that point also, but I liked this one. It wasn't bad. I would have liked this one as a standalone movie. You know what I mean? Outside of the franchise, because it really didn't add anything to the franchise of value. So it by itself, I thought it was fine. I would put it in like Flaming Ouija board, probably.
All right.
Yeah. This. Oh, sorry, Birdie.
Oh no, you're good, dude. It's your turn now.
Yeah. I think at this point they were trying pretty hard to connect it to the first three movies. Like they had to kind of make some stretches to kind of do those connections, and they did. They made it work. I do think this feels like a standalone movie. but they used the Paranormal Activity name. It goes a completely different direction with new characters, but I think these characters are a lot of fun. I really enjoy them throughout the movie. It does a lot of fun stuff. A lot more dialogue and stuff like that, and some great. Remember, dude, like the guy's skateboarding and like he just freaking floats up in the air and does all that crazy stuff. It just a lot of weird ass scenes like that in this movie where the guy gets possessed and he has like almost superpowers. He's getting like protected by the demon or witch or whatever it is, in a sense. So he's like doing like he's trying to grind rails and stuff, and he's like floating in the air and like he keeps falling backwards and getting like that stuff was cool. And they had a lot of fun dialogue with the characters, like you said, with the witches, the naked ones, and all that stuff was fun. It's just not. I think it would have been a lot better as a standalone movie. 100%, I agree with that. In this frame, I would put it in the Flaming Ouija board as well.
And you know what, Brad? Just to answer your question about the whole skateboarding of how he's doing all that, it's called Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, dude, he maxed out the freaking attributes, man, for sure.
Yeah, man, it got those extra abilities, and so that's the reason for that. And then and just the whole nude thing with the old ladies is pretty much simple. That is Coven 101 for a witch movie. You have to be nude. I don't know where that trope came from.
Full frontal of a hot chick and full backtal of a not hot chick.
Yeah, like, because again, we've seen, like, we saw it in The Witch. We saw that. Did we see it in Lords of Salem, Brad?
Oh yeah, 100 times.
Oh yeah, we definitely. Yeah, God, sorry. Oh God, see, I even just lost mine for my life. But anyways, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, though. I agree with what both of you said. This should have been a standalone because I think we were at the point of this franchise. We need to bring something new and different and like a new storyline, kind of like Toby going after like another like prodigy or something, like the kid that he possessed. I feel like that's the direction they should have gone, but I like this movie a lot. This is actually a popular movie within this franchise with the audience point of view. So for me, I did have that as a Bloody Mary, but kind of like, but I wasn't the biggest fan at the end, so that's probably why I'm going to lower it down to Flaming Ouija board. So I'm going to have to readjust my letterbox list after this.
Dude, the ending was like it was kind of cool at the end though, because they added like the action sequences, like they had the shotguns and stuff, and they were blowing people away like the witches.
Oh, that was the coolest part of this whole movie when they went and got that other guy, and he was like, "Let's go do this," and he has that gun. He just starts blowing people away like left and right. I was like, man, this dude is cool.
It was neat. It didn't really fit in the franchise, but it was like, man, this is fun. Like it was fun. And it had a lot of sequences like that where I think that they were fighting at one point and like the demon starts flowing people away, like kicking people away. All that stuff was cool. And yeah, I mean, it at the end of the day, it does expand in this world a little bit. It builds on it. It makes you realize that it's more than just, the confines of the isolated story you've had so far. And doesn't it kind of start to introduce, this is the one where they go back to the first movie, right? Where they go back,
unfortunately, which made absolutely no sense. That's why it lowers down from a Bloody Mary to a Flaming Ouija board for me.
Well, I thought that was a cool concept. When
did they go back to the first one?
Well, they introduced this idea that you could like portal to a different world or whatever kind of deal, like Mario style, but it had to be like a
demonic place or like an evil place.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I feel like that's where they went back to the old lady. Like, didn't they go back to the mom's house from Paranormal Activity 3? Because that's what that whole landscape reminded me of.
Maybe. I know they do go back in the next one, but I know. Yeah. They went back to the original.
Sisters were younger.
Right.
Yeah. But we got to see them go back to the original house, and we got to see the scene downstairs that we missed out on in the first movie when Mika goes downstairs to check out what Katie's doing down there, and he gets murked up. And so we get to see that firsthand now. And that was a cool little connection.
I forgot about that. Yeah. They do they show you the behind the scenes of how she did Mika in.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm trying to remember real quick. I said Flaming Ouija board. Brad says Flaming Ouija board. Mel, did you also say Flaming Ouija board?
I did say Flaming Ouija.
All right, 3 for 3, so that makes it easy. So we'll put it right there. So, all right, this is where it's going to get really fun now, guys, because we are pretty much going into, like, in my opinion, the bottom two of this franchise, especially this one. Let's go to another dimension and Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension. Most people's most disliked movie in this franchise. Mel, do you agree with that?
I'll tell you why it's the most disliked, because the parents in this one are just ridiculous. They clearly give no craps about their kid whatsoever, and it really upset me. But this is the one where it's like, so they move into the house from the third one, because we're assuming the part 2 and part 1 are different houses, right? So they move into the house from the third one. I thought this was the one thing they did do that was really cool in this one is they had a callback to the third one. So in the third one, when the little girls are with the grandma and she says something like, there's another girl that's like you, or whatever she says in that one. They do a callback to that one in this one with the whole video thing where the parents in this present time are talking to their daughter while they're watching the 2 little girls from the third one on the video. And so this is where you learn that the little girl from this movie is the little girl they were talking about in the third one. So I thought that was a really cool way to tie them together. And then they had this scene where, like, is it Katie on the video says bless you to Lee in present time when she sneezed. So because it was like she was watching her back then as she is today. So it's kind of like this really cool way that they had, like, the past and the present coming together. But they wrote it really well. It made sense. It wasn't confusing. I can see where that could get really confusing easily, trying to write a script for something like this. But this one, they lean a lot on Toby being the entity, but then also still trying to, like, bring in the witches in this one, which was kind of weird. And they did a lot of, like, backtracking with the videotapes from the third one. So I mean, it was all right. I don't know how I feel about this.
Go with your
It
gut.
was okay. I mean, I didn't dislike it as much as 4, so I guess maybe Mika as a boyfriend for
Yeah, Brad, what do you think about this?
I feel, the scene you mentioned was the coolest thing about this movie for sure, hands down. The rest of it, this is really when it started to feel too polished, and they, like, they did these little camera effects and stuff, which I know was supposed to be, like, I guess the ghost or whatever. I didn't find the characters interesting at all in this movie. I thought it was probably the most boring of the bunch, and really the most over the top of the bunch at the same time somehow. So yeah, there's not much I like about this movie other than that. I would put it at the bottom for sure. I would take it all the way down to Secrets with Toby.
And you know what? And that's where I'm actually going to take it as well for Secrets with Toby. Because, like, if you're going to have to borrow some scenes from The Exorcist where the little girl is attacking the priest, we have a problem with this. Like, if we're going to rely on other horror movie properties to try to enhance your movie, to me, like, and plus they didn't really do it right, even though I will admit that scene scared me. But what pissed me off the most with this movie is they show Toby. You do not ever get to see Toby, ever. Just because that takes away all the scares away for me, and that just frustrates me so damn bad, because there are no secrets with Toby, because you get to see damn Toby. And that's just the third act just completely loses me. I had no interest. I was more puzzled than anything. And kind of like Mel said, the parents suck. They should possibly, child security services should take that kid away. Kid would probably be better off. So for me, with Secrets of Toby is where the Ghost Dimension needs to go. So that's where we're going to put it.
I'm not mad at it, because you're right. The parents knew that Toby was there, and they knew that his goal was to take their daughter away. But yet they kept sending her to bed by herself and going and doing other things. And, like, they were more interested in, like, watching the videotapes and trying to find Toby. Then they even gave a crap about their daughter to the point where she even goes into the other dimension for like ever, all night or whatever, just disappears. Nobody
We
cares.
just upgraded our game of 3 minutes in 3 minutes in heaven.
3 hours in hell.
Yeah, 3
But yeah,
or
they
3
leave
hours
a
in
lot.
another dimension.
Oh, 3 hours in another dimension,
ghost
in the ghost
dimension.
dimension. But
This
they
was very
leaned a
visual,
lot.
dude.
They leaned a lot on that black mass too, you know, where the floating oil or goop or whatever it was.
Yeah, is he like Ivan Ooze or something like that?
Is it what?
Okay. Sorry, I'm a Power Rangers fan. It's from the Power
Oh,
Rangers movie.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. So I'm just going to show up for the rest of the stream because just my jokes
Perfect.
aren't landing tonight. But like, did you say perfect? Brad, last time. Oh gosh. See now
Bird.
Trump's trying to fade the stream. So damn it. I promise there's no politics on this channel. But any other comments you want to say about the Ghost Dimension?
Vision Films comes in and says it was cool that it was set around Christmas, and I agree with that. But that's the only thing.
Oh my god, that's why I totally forgot about why I hate this movie so much. Because now we officially have to call this movie a Christmas movie.
No, we don't.
Toby invades Christmas.
Yeah, that was an interesting, cool thing, and yeah, I do like the connection to the the third movie, but yeah, I don't know, man. This one sucked.
See, Vision Films, I appreciate it. Haha, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is what's up. And damn right it is, because I got that sucker on Blu-ray right over there. You know what? I might watch it after this stream tonight.
Sorry,
Screw you.
I'm lame. I guess I watched them like back in the day when I was a kid. Not a lot. They'd be on TV.
I'll accept that.
And I wouldn't
Same.
actually watch them. I don't know.
I'll accept that. First season's the best.
I
I'll
just
take your
remember
word for it.
bits and pieces.
Anyways, just my fandom is just heartbroken right now. So, if y'all want to go into the last movie, unless if you want to address the comments real quick.
Nothing really else to address, Birdie. I think we're good to go.
I did say Mika saying I wasn't a fan of 5 at all. I just feel like this one of the films starting going down a bit, which I kind of agree with that.
Mhm.
To me, it's
100%.
with 4. It's with 4 where it starts to go down a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. 4, and then this definitely puts the icing on the cake.
And so we are about to go into our last movie of the Paranormal Activity franchise. It's Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. And I'm going to come back here real quick because it is a 2021 movie. So if you have not seen Next of Kin, I would suggest muting this portion of the tier maker or tearing it up. So if you don't want to get spoiled about the movie. And I'm also going to let Darth Stewie real quickly say a word.
No, oh, hang on. Spoiler alert! Okay.
Thank you, Darth Stewie. So, sorry, I always have to play that clip because it makes me smile. So, Mel, what do you think about Next of Kin? And from what I think you told me in the pre-show, you said that this is the first time you've seen this movie, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I had ever seen it. I watched it today for the first time. This is kind of the movie where they just let go of everything and it seemed like they just tried something completely new. They even changed the artwork, which was kind of annoying. I wish they wouldn't have done that. But this is also, I had the same thought as I did the marked ones. I'm like, this clearly could be a standalone movie. Why didn't they do that? But this one just left me with like so many questions. Like, one, what happened to the paranormal stuff? And like, are we supposed to assume that this is where the whole franchise was going? Like the little girls, Christy and Katie, were being prepped to be in this one to harbor that beast. Like that's what was happening this whole time.
Amish people?
Yeah. Like, is that what we're assuming? Is that they were being prepped for this?
I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
I have absolutely no freaking idea what this movie was trying to do. I feel like it was just trying to beat. I feel like it was trying to beat The Witch. That's why I feel like.
This is what I think they did. I think they decided to go and do a complete 180. They tried to make you believe that the witches were actually good. They weren't bad this whole time, and that they were trying to save the world. Is what I think
Dude,
that they were trying to do in this one.
At least they make good. At least they make good food.
I mean, did anybody else get that same feeling about this movie? Because like
these witches have snapped so many necks up until this point. Like you just can't do that.
no, I
And
know,
we
but
also-
they literally were like, if we don't transfer this thing into your body, it will then become free and it can jump into anybody's body that it wants, and it will like take over the world, right?
And we
It
also
was-
got mutated two-headed goats now too.
That
Dude,
was
I don't
really
know what this.
sad.
I don't know what was going on in this thing, man. To be honest with you, I'm with you, Birdie.
Really honestly don't either.
I think that that's what they were going for, and I'm pretty sure it was the end of days at the end.
And they
I'm
left it open
serious.
for another movie too, which also frustrated me. Like, I don't need to see another version of this.
Yeah, we don't need another. We didn't need this one, I don't think.
No.
However, if it went back to what I was saying before, if it were a standalone movie, it was very interesting, like with the whole the DNA testing, because that's stuff that happens now, and Margot finds like a relative, and oh my god, the video footage of her mom dropping her off broke my heart.
No.
It really did. And yeah, this was the first movie that Katie Featherston wasn't in, which was annoying because that too could have made this a standalone movie. But I kind of like that they went to this like Amish community, and there was like this weird stuff going on, and then it kind of had that twist where it wasn't really an Amish movie, and then you found out what was going on in the chapel, and then that was really weird, and they had a really cool practical effects situation going on at the end. So it had its good moments for me, but a part of the franchise I wish it wasn't. So I'm gonna put it, where am I gonna put it? I'm toggling between Flaming Ouija and Mika just because it is a part of this franchise, so I can't just forget that. And being a part of this franchise makes me want to go more Mika. But if it was a standalone, I'd go more Flaming Ouija. So I don't know. We'll put it Mika.
Okay. I was like, we could come back to it if you need to think on it a little more.
Okay, let me think about it.
All right. Brad, what do you think about it?
I totally agree, man. This thing had no business being a Paranormal Activity movie. Like I was watching, I was like, dude, what? This is not, like it felt way overproduced. You had some. I think it even had some like score, like some music in there at times.
Mm-hmm.
As a part of that. So it did not feel like it meshes with the rest of the franchise at all. Again, like you said, it would have been great standalone. Like it would have actually improved it as a standalone. I wouldn't say it would be great by any means, but it would be better if it were a standalone movie. I like the setting. The setting was cool. The snow at the end, all that stuff was really neat. I like that. It was kind of a cool way of throwing it in there. The kind of isolated environment was cool. I like that as well. But dude, this was jump scare city, man. This was straight like, hey, let's just throw in as many jump scares as we can. Let's have a good time. But it wasn't that, man. It really wasn't that at all. I thought the ending was pretty cool, but yeah, overall, man, I agree. I'd put this as a Mika.
Put it as a Mika. Here's the thing. Here's the big thing with me with Next of Kin. It breaks a major thing with the Paranormal Activity. With Paranormal Activity, it's supposed to feel like real, just like with the camera quality and all that. I understand it's 2021 and we have like HD cameras and all that, but just to me, this absolutely just does not feel like a Paranormal Activity movie for me. And if you're going to be a Paranormal Activity movie, you better make it feel like it. I'm good with starting completely over, kind of like let it be its own thing, a new set of storylines and all that. Just to me, it didn't land. However, but just the sin of what they did is not a bigger sin than showing Toby. That is the most sensible thing you can do in this franchise is seeing damn Toby. So for me, I'm putting Next of Kin as Mika as a boyfriend.
Nice. We all put it in the same spot.
Or Mel's got to make a final decision.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just gonna go with my original Mika.
Alrighty, so we'll freaking let it hang out with Mika as a boyfriend. Maybe they could get to know each other, figure out what they did wrong in their life.
But the other movies just they made it a point to try so hard to continue to tie every movie in with that first one, and this one was just like, we're done.
Nope. Yeah, like nope. We're tired of Katie. But
We're gonna quit on the 7th movie.
God, it took 7 movies.
Yeah.
But I will admit one thing real quick with Next of Kin. The whole cave stuff, that's the part that made me nervous. Other than that, I just was like, this movie is dragging and it needs to end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was kind of cool though, when they were going down in the caves.
Are we assuming that that's how everyone got down there? Because that's just unrealistic.
God, do you know how long that would
Yeah,
freaking
dude, that would
take?
take
No!
Why can't they just make an elevator?
Dude,
There's probably
yeah,
like
they
a
need
basement door outside where you just one of the cellar doors you just open and you walk down the stairs. It was probably right around the
They had
other
a
side
slide.
of the building,
They had
and
a
they're
slide
going up
somewhere.
and down this thing. A fire pole.
Yeah.
Fire and hole. Whee!
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
That is a very symmetrical looking tier list right there, man. That's perfect.
Yeah, it kind of like, oh god, just popped my neck just trying to turn my head. But yeah, let's reevaluate real quick just to make sure we're good on this list. Let's go from bottom to top. Secrets with Toby is Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, or just 3 hours of Dimension Hell. Then we got Mika as a boyfriend. We got Paranormal Activity 4 and Paranormal Activity or it wishes it was a Paranormal Activity movie. So we'll just call it Next of Kin. So Next of Kin is with Mika as a boyfriend. Then the Flaming Ouija board is Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones. Bloody Mary is Paranormal Activities 2 and 3. And then lastly, the top of the top, extracurricular activities with the camera on is the original Paranormal Activity.
That all
Hell to
makes
the yeah,
sense
man.
to me.
Yeah.
I think it's solid.
then,
It's a good list.
Yeah, very solid list. So let me go ahead and exit out of here. And again, if you want to do your own, look into our description. We did provide a link, and you can make your own tier list and see where you put all these Paranormal Activity movies. And of course, leave a comment so we know what your all's thoughts on.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me check the poll because I did put a poll in the chat to see what they thought about the franchise. And out of 28 votes, we have 34% say that they love the franchise. 38%, which is the highest, like the franchise. 24% dislike the franchise. And 3% say that they hate the franchise. Yeah, so not bad numbers at all.
No, very solid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for blocking that bot. I'm not sure if they thought Toby was a girl, so that's why they got in the chat. So I'm not sure what happened.
You got the
there.
love bots going on. They love
bots
this
for Toby.
franchise.
Yeah, they love Paranormal Activity and all that. But so that is our tier list for Paranormal Activity. And Mel, we are so happy that you came along to do this particular tearing it up with us. So we really appreciate your time.
For having me. This was really fun. This is my first time doing a tier list. So
oh,
this was
awesome!
really fun.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's such a blast too. Like you'll get hooked onto them the more you do them. I'm checking the comments one more time here. And Tana says, "Will you guys watch the Chucky show tonight?" Mel, have you been watching that show?
I haven't been watching it on TV. So what I did for the first season is I just bought it when it came out on physical and I binged it. So I'm going to do that for season 2. I'll just buy it and binge it when it comes out. So no, I'll be watching it tonight.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I got way behind, so I'm just recording them all, and then after it's done, then I'll just binge them. That's how I'll do it. Brad,
Yeah,
are you
same.
the same?
Yeah,
you're
same
just-
way. I'm going to wait till the season's done. Netflix has got me spoiled,
Yeah.
man. I can't do the weekly thing really much anymore.
Same.
Yeah. damn Netflix and Tubi and all those lovely, amazing apps.
Oh
So,
my god, Tubi
all right, I
is
think-
the best.
Yeah,
Tubi's
Tubi
solid.
is extremely underrated.
And it's
There's
free.
so
as a
much
motherfucker.
stuff on there,
Love
it's
Tubi,
ridiculous.
guys. So,
Yes.
all right. I think we are done with the chat. So, just to kind of wrap things up here, Mel, do you want to tell everybody what's coming up on your channel or any special projects, streams, or anything like that?
I really don't have much going on. I do my regular weekly videos, but with the holidays coming up, I'm getting really busy. So I didn't want to commit to too many live streams and then not be able to follow through. So I don't really have much going on. I think I might be doing one with Dead Pit next week on Tuesday. So look for that one. But I will be still dropping my weekly videos, even if I have to pre-record them. You can find me on pretty much all social medias at My Killer Podcast. Thank you so much for having me on. This was awesome.
Yeah, that's
so much fun.
Yeah, so much fun. This is the first time Mel got to meet Brad too. So it's so
Yeah.
awesome, except for attacking me at one point too, where Mel's no longer invited, which I'm kidding. We absolutely would love to have Mel back on for a feature stream or video, or anytime she has time available in her crazy schedule. We always love to. The door is always open for you.
Absolutely. I'll always come back. But do you remember when we first met over on, was it Bacon Pew Pew's channel, where I was
Yes.
making death jokes to you the whole time?
Oh, I know it. I was just laughing. I was like,
At the end, bro was like, do you
friendship.
even like me? I was like, I'm sorry. Just the jokes kept coming. I don't know.
I thought that was awesome. So that was the start of a beautiful friendship. And again, we're so happy to have you on here.
Thank
Brad, do
you.
you want to say what's coming up on the channel?
I do, man. Sunday, we are doing a brand new style of review, and we're starting it with Dr. Sleep, which you guys saw our Shining review last week. We're going to cap that off with Dr. Sleep here. But what this is, man, we're going live with it, man. We're doing a live interactive movie review for the first time on the channel. It's a new style we're going to do. We're going to do new things. We're going to get the fans involved, because that is what freaking makes this fun. We did the tournament a while back. You guys freaking rocked it, made things happen, some crazy upsets and all that fun stuff. So we want to do that with our movie reviews. We're going to be adding a fan rating system into this review. So be tuned, stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be tearing it up. It's going to be a lot of so bring your thoughts, watch Dr. Sleep, come into the review with us, and let's talk about it as a group. And next week, we're going to be doing Slash It Out. It is back, baby, with X versus Pearl. Pearl just came out on Blu-ray this past week, so I finally got a chance to watch it. And yeah, we're going to be rocking that out. And of course, here in a couple other weeks, we're going to be doing the next Slash It Out, which is going to be The Shining versus Dr. Sleep that we talked about. I think during our last live show or something like that. We did make that announcement, and we'll be crushing that. And then also soon, stay tuned for a debut of our new series that we'll be doing called Based on a Real Story, the true story of horror movies. This first one will be the true story that inspired The Conjuring. So be on the lookout for that.
Hell yeah. And do you mind if I throw the other 3 things out
Yes,
there?
go ahead, dude. I wanted to let you talk about that. So yeah, do
No,
that.
it's okay. I appreciate that. First off, we got the Scream Warriors, which if you're familiar with the Stream Demons, this is the reboot version of Stream Demons. We got Brayden, Destiny, Mia, and of course your boys at Good Real Hunting. And we are hoping to bring you all a first episode of it in early 2023. So I just want to let you know. And we got a Facebook, Instagram, and a Twitter page for Scream Warriors if you want to join that for any further details about when our first episode is going to be, along with all these lovely individuals on their channels and their live streams. Because I know Fear Freaks was having a stream tonight, and that's Brayden and Destiny show. And for next Monday, me and Brett. Oh, sorry. Lastly, of course, our awesome producer of Scream Warriors is Chris Snyder. And the reason I brought that up is because Chris Snyder, myself, and Brayden we are doing a podcast called the Spider-Man Podcast. That is where we talk about comic book movies. And we're having our first stream on Monday at the 21st at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, as we're going to rank all of the MCU movies and Netflix, Disney Plus shows. So that is a total of 38 movies and shows we're going to be freaking ranking for you guys. And that would be this next Monday at 8 o'clock. And then lastly, we got a freaking Patreon hangout this coming Saturday, too, at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. So if you are the Patreon level of 2s and 3s, and for this particular one, we're also going to make it available for one time only, because we're doing something special for this particular Patreon hangout. So if you want to be a Patreon, be sure to get your Patreon subscription in before the live hangout, so you can get access to that link.
Yeah, guy, and I mean, we could probably tell the people what we're doing during that, because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Sure.
We're doing, yeah, if you're good with it. We got the Real March Madness coming up in March, obviously, hence the word March Madness, the big ass tournament of the March season. This March we're doing the 90s movies, all genres, not just horror. And this Saturday we're going to be pretty much we're doing the selection process, and we're going to do it live for our Patreons to check out while we do it, behind the scenes kind of stuff. We got 200 movies on the list that we're going to work down to 64. So yeah, we could use your help there if you're going to be in that little behind the scenes live show. That would be pretty epic.
Pretty damn epic indeed. And I'm going to read these 3 comments real quick. Atana saying the hardest scene to watch in Dr. Sleep was the baseball boy's death. Yeah, we're going to be talking in
100%.
detail about that, because I got a lot to say about that scene. And Mika says, based on a real story, sounds awesome. Yeah, that's an idea Brad thought about, and I was all for it, especially the first episode being The Conjuring. As such a Conjuring fan that I am, I'm so excited to tackle that, because just to tackle the real story behind it, it's so damn interesting. And then lastly, Chris Snyder is excited for Scream Warriors and the Spider-Man. Dude, I'm excited to have you on board both of those projects too. And before we close out, Mel, since we mentioned the Real March Madness in the 90s movie, what is your favorite 90s movie of all time?
My favorite 90s movie of all time?
You can say Dumb and Dumber. It's cool. It's fun. We all know
it's Space Jam. The automatic. Actually, you know what? The better answer is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Damn it.
Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber. Tommy Boy.
No. Okay. Sorry, we're confusing her. Mel,
off the top
you
of
don't
my
have to say
head,
what your
I
favorite
can't.
movie is, or what's some of your favorites?
All of the 90s. So, Army of Darkness, Ernest Scared Stupid, Encino Man.
Ooh.
I'm literally looking this up right now. Scream.
I was like, what are you looking at?
I was like, 90s movies. Oh, okay, here we go.
You can't fool us there, Mel. I've seen some in the chat saying Pulp Fiction and The Crow. Those are
Crow,
excellent
100%.
Yeah, hell yeah. The Crow's going to be a good one.
And I'll even throw out Space Jam. And you know what? Just to screw it, actually, I'm not going to save that. I'll save that one for the Patreon hangout. So be sure to be a Patreon so you can hear that particular answer I was about to say. Oh, and Gory Tucker says Natural Born Killers.
Oh, Natural Born Killers.
Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, Galford Dogs coming. Yeah, dude.
Terminator 2, Scream, Seven, Silence of the Lambs,
Fight Club.
That broke rules 1 and 2.
Titanic.
God, if I have to rewatch Titanic for all 3 hours of that movie again.
You just watched the second half.
Yeah, dude, it's epic.
Hey, it is epic. Just like drop me like one of your French girls, Jack.
Oh
God. Hey, David, I just gave Brad a T-shirt idea for this for the channel or for our Good Real Hunting shirt stores someday. It's just me going to lay like this.
You have to be in the nude, though.
Yeah, kind of like the freaking witch, kind of like that coven from the Marklands.
Full frontal or full backtal?
Backtal.
my gosh. Oh man. And Melissa, I just saw you in the chat here. What's going on there, Melissa? We are officially getting ready to close out. So last time, Mel, thank you so much for being our guest. We couldn't have done this stream without you. It was awesome.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast. And I look forward to future endeavors.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, that door is always open. And Brad, anything else you want to say?
That is it. Thanks to all for being here. It was a fun evening.
It is. And Mel, you've been on this channel before. You know how we like to end it. So we're going to see you guys later. Do the finger point. There we go. Yeah, I was like, there we go.